Stand by. Shane Mathews is live coming to you from Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Let's roll the opening, Brendan. You got it?
It's time again for Buddy Martin. Call him up and tell him what you're thinking. But be kind because he's doing the best he can.
Better, stronger, faster.
Mama says that alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth but no toothbrush.
Hey, what if the voice calls while you're gone?
Take a message.
Bye.
You ready, champ?
I'm ready for this my whole life.
I'm incapable of small talk. But that's why you love me, right?
Kind of intimidating to be in the presence of so many great athletes.
And welcome to Melvin Law Monday. I'm Buddy Martin. He's Brendan Martin on the phone live from Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, where we had quite a festival tonight, celebrating the second anniversary of the restaurant there in Celebration Point. And with me now is a guy who was very much in the middle of things there. Every time I saw him holding forth somewhere, eating dinner with the head ball coach, etc. Shane Mathews. Shane, is this party still going on?
Oh, the party's still going, buddy.
Yeah.
I see Scott Carter's leading the party. But, yeah, it's still going on probably till about 10 o'clock or so. But it was good seeing you and Brendan tonight, and it was a great atmosphere there at Spurrier's. I know Lauren Met, as part of the Gator Bait media crew, was there as well. But, yeah, just a remarkable night in year two of Spurrier's Gridiron Grill.
I had a chance to visit with Coach Spurrier. We're going to play the interview in just a minute. I talked to him about what a remarkable place that is. I mean, not just because Freddie Weeby gave us a free meal, but I mean, to think what a recruiting tool this thing is. If you've not been there at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, how do you explain it, Shane?
Well, you really don't understand it until you go. I mean, it's literally a museum of not just Florida football history, but of what Coach Spurrier is all about. I mean, he's the greatest Gator of all. I mean, think about, I was discussing with some guys tonight, Bear Bryant, obviously, his record speaks for itself, what he's done, Joe Paterno, these type of guys. But when you look at what Steve Spurrier did, not only as a player but as a coach, he did it all as a Gator. I know he went to South Carolina, was very successful, but not many guys are great players, win Heisman trophies, and then are so successful as a head coach at their alma mater. And, Coach is he's the greatest Gator of all time. And it's great to see how well the restaurant is doing, how well it does help in recruiting, and it's just a fun place to be.
Coach Steve was out there asking questions, trivia, and the first one he asked was what quarterback was undefeated at home, and shouted out, Buddy Martin, you're not eligible for this, because he knows I know the answer, and that would be Shane Mathews. So how's it feel to be a trivia question on the good side forever right there in Spurrier's Gridiron Grill?
Well, it's cool. Coach brought that up to me a couple of years ago when he came back as the ambassador. He'd sit up in that little closet office of his, and he would come up with stats here and there. And he called me one day and he asked me, Shane, who's the only quarterback that never lost a home game? And I had no idea, because Danny and obviously Rex and Tim all lost home games. And I was fortunate during that era. We went 18-0 in my 3 years. And I don't know if anybody will break it. I hope some dudes do, because if they do, that means we're winning a lot of football games.
You're the subject. Brendan's on with me now, and you won't be able to hear him. But the subject of a little bit of a, I don't say controversy, but the subject matter of Graham Mertz came up on several shows and other shows in other states. And they ran a clip of you talking on our show about why you like Mertz. That's the night last week when I said, well, when it comes to quarterbacks, I defer to the man who knows the most about I know, who played for 6 different NFL teams, who played for the Florida Gators, started the whole dynasty era, if you will, and when he came there, and then of course went on to become the MVP in the SEC game, I believe, twice, and that would be you. So when it comes to quarterbacks, I defer to you. So tell them again what you said, and tell them why you think that Graham Mertz, quote unquote, you say, is going to be fine.
Well, he's extremely intelligent as a football player. He reminds me of a Spurrier type quarterback. Accurate, anticipates well, just knows the offense, knows what everybody's going to do. And, I think nowadays people get too enamored with a lot of the combine type stuff, how fast you are, how fast how far you jump or how high you jump, how far you throw a football. And honestly, let's be honest, none of that matters when it comes to playing quarterback. I think he's going to be perfectly fine. I think if he had come from another school that had a different logo on their helmet, people would be more excited. I could be a moron, buddy, this time next year, but I firmly believe that he's going to have a really good year and play solid, consistent quarterback play for the Florida Gators.
You're kind of all in on Mertz, and I think it's going to be fun to watch and see if you're right and Paul Feinbaum's wrong. So it'll be interesting to see that. Now, I know you want to get back to your dinner. Boy, I had some good food tonight. I don't know what all I had. Fish and beef and chicken. And what was your favorite?
Well, I'm a meat and potatoes kind of guy, buddy, and they had some good fillets and mashed potatoes and macaroni and cheese, and obviously Jerry's cookies. You can never go wrong eating a bunch of cookies, and I bet I've eaten half a dozen of them.
If you haven't been to Spurrier's Grand Grill there in Celebration Point, take it from Shane and me. You got to go. It's a special place. The food and service are terrific. They've been very successful, and the HBC is very happy. They're at his own restaurant. Shane, great stuff, man. Good to see you tonight. I'll talk to you on your show tomorrow morning.
Absolutely. It was good seeing you and Brandon. Y'all be good. Take care.
Thank you, Shane. Appreciate it very much. Right. The great Shane Mathews, who does this morning show 5 days a week, Brendan. And what I'm late.
Well, you're there. I lost your mic, buddy. I don't know if I can hear you, if you can hear me, but if you're still there, I'll bring in Kyle Curtis. Kyle, how's it going, buddy?
I'm here.
Good. How are you guys?
All right. How you doing? Hey, buddy's back now. We hear him.
How's dinner, guys?
Hey, Kyle.
It's good. Good.
It's Brendan, you got very fuzzy all of a sudden. But anyway, so I was just going to say one reason I was late tonight was coming out of the door. Jeffrey Melvin stopped me. And we visited, and he said some very nice things about our family. And so I said, Jeffrey, I got to go. I'm going to be late for Melvin Law Monday, your show, if I don't go. And so since I'm here, we don't have the spot handy. We'll play it later. Just tell you that you have it.
Of course I have it.
All right.
I have
anyway,
everything. I'm
all
amazing.
right, well, roll it in.
I have all the stuff. Just so we know, let me just be transparent, because if we're not transparent, we're not really who we are. So we drove like a bat out of hell from Gainesville to Ocala and dropped Buddy off. Yeah, because you were complaining the entire time. And then we drove down, and then I dropped off Buddy, and I came here, and I set up everything, and now I'm literally dumping our interviews, because we've got interviews coming down the line. Now, I don't know what this means. I'm working on that one. Kyle, if you know what that means, you let me know. But we got here in time. We just talked to Shane. Kyle, you were at practice. I don't have your practice footage because we just walked in the door. But tell me, Kyle, about what happened at practice today while we were at Spurrier's. We'll get back to Spurrier's. We'll talk about, we got interviews with Chris Doering, Steve Spurrier. We got interviews. I think Buddy did a great interview with Dooley, which is pretty solid. So we're going to have that coming up here shortly. Kyle, kind of practice got moved back an hour. So we were there because we were with the rest of the media course. So Edgar Thomas there. We had all the guys were there having dinner, inclusive former players were there. So it was great. But tell us what happened at practice, what you saw, and give us the ones and twos there.
Yeah. So for practice, it was the same kind of idea of just how they, go through their little position drills and stuff like that. I wanted to focus on, I focused on the running backs today. usually I'm looking at the kind of wide receivers, quarterbacks. I went to the running backs, and it looked like the emphasis today was kind of just blocking. They were pushing the sled. They were all just taking turns, and they pushed the sled the whole distance of the field. The defensive line is looking, I mean, massive, really good. And
no, you're good. You're good.
All right,
I just wanted to say we don't back down, Melvin, on Monday. It's all that was. It's just flashing that in there because we saw Melvin on the way out the door. He cornered Buddy, and it was great. Was one of those kind of nights. Go ahead. So keep going.
Yeah. So then the defensive line looked really good. They were doing some lateral movements, stuff like that, and I was able to catch the quarterbacks a little bit. Graham Mertz. They were kind of just doing some comeback routes, stuff like that. But yeah, for the most part, pretty normal day of practice. Going back out there tomorrow. We'll let you know if we see anything new.
Now, you didn't see anything, nothing about injuries stuff. I know, buddy, I just cut you off. I just didn't. I know that I talked to a couple guys who came late to the
Shamar James is back in full. So Devin Moore was back in full. Those were guys that Napier said last week would probably take a week to 10 days. And then, just the same kind of no contact jerseys. And I think Jonathan Odom was really the only one that kind of stood out. But yeah, Arliss Boardingham and Keon Zipper, or not Keon Zipper, I'm sorry. Arliss Boardingham, they're still shaping out the tight end room. So, yep, looking good other than that.
Yeah. Okay, buddy, you had something to say to Kyle there?
No, just going to say that there probably weren't that many guys there at practice because when they got their food in their belly and got a warm drink in their hand, and said, "Well, maybe we won't go to practice tonight." So
yeah, I ran into my old high school coach at practice too, which was pretty cool. So, but and it got the viewing period got switched around, so it was a little confusing. We figured it out though. So tomorrow's during the day. It's a hot one.
Now, there's no Billy Monday. We're not into the Billy press conference every Monday right now. That's when the season starts. We see Billy Napier every Monday for Monday afternoon presser, but he didn't come out today.
No, there was no interviews today. I have to check the schedule. There might be a few people talking tomorrow. But other than that, nothing on Monday, and then usually nothing on the weekends.
I just wanted to say to Kyle and to Matt, who comes back tomorrow, congratulations on the first-class job you guys did picking up for Brendan and I the last couple of days with our personal things to deal with. And you guys were like champs. You came through, both of you did, and we didn't miss a beat. And congratulations on a fine job there, Kyle, you and Matt, okay?
Thank you. I really appreciate it. And, we would always do anything for you and to be there for your family. And, we love doing it. And, you guys make it easy to, keep loving the Gators too. So thank you.
Well, and how cool is your dad, by the way? Because you came on Saturday to the
Patrick was there.
Yes. By the way, what is he like? 26? That guy?
Yeah, I hope he's watching. He loves that.
Your dad looks like. I mean, he feels like a superhero. This dude. I wish I had a picture of him. He's like a Clark Kent, like modern. Like if you did like one of those,
we're never gonna hear the end of this.
If you ever did like a modern version, like how they do the play on like Super Kid or Super Dude or Super, the offspring of Superman, version 4, like he's Clark Kent Jr. Like, get him some glass. Like he even had the glasses. I know what I was like, dude. Superman's here. Literally, Superman's here.
He's a great guy. He went to Omaha. I think Mr. McGinnis actually came up to us and he was like, I just thought it was the coolest thing that you guys went out to Omaha. And, I was like, that's so cool that everyone's kind of it was cool to be able to write about it and have everyone like vicariously live through me kind of that weekend, which was a really cool thing that I don't know, a lot of people probably wouldn't be able to say that they can do.
Well, now that we have you on and we were in such a hurry, we forgot to tell everybody who's watching, welcome to our super chat. First of all, we hit 1,000 subscribers. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you smash. Buddy, that was your thing. Okay, ready? Let's try again, buddy. Okay. Make sure you smash the subscribe button. Subscribe, smash it, do it. We're over at like almost 1,100. I know we got to get to a lot of things. We had a crazy weekend. We just got back to it, literally hit the ground running with Spurriers and all that stuff. Now we're running back. We're giving you interviews. We've got, if you're in the chat room right now, apparently a super chat going on because Joe Blackburn's just giving us $4. Terry Johnson's giving us $3. Apparently, you can give us money now. So hey, that's all cool. If you give us money,
wait. What did Kyle give it? What did Kyle give us?
Kyle gave us his father, Superman, dude.
Okay, all right.
Super dad.
I'll go over to the viewing portion after whenever you guys get the next interviews going.
Now wait, do we give them money or they give us money? Which one is that?
Who? We give them money, Dad. It comes out of your account.
Okay.
Straight out of your account.
Yeah, like you. Okay, I got it. Okay.
Yeah, just like me. I just that's all I do. And I probably broke several laws on the way home. So if you send a super chat, Brendan will answer your question. You know what? If you send a super chat right now, I'll play Truth or Dare with you, maybe. I don't know. I pretty much do anything for money. But I don't know. Except taking my clothes off in front of Buddy, which would be weird. That's just
we have people from Germany here who was listening tonight. Wow, how about that?
There we
What
go.
is that, magnificent
I went to
German?
Munich last year. Very cool city.
You did, and you wrote an article about that, which is a nice segue. If you want to read Kyle or you want to read Buddy, go to gatorbaitmedia.com and check that out because that's good stuff. And today is Melvin Law Monday. So since we're talking about that, we're going to go to a commercial break. We'll be right back and see if Kyle's going to stay with us. Hopefully we will. On the Buddy Martin
Coach
show.
Spurrier is next, right?
Well,
here
you know what? If he would load from my phone, he might be next. If I can get him off into Dropbox, I think we're close. It's all loading. It's all happening. And it's how we do it on this show. So we'll be right back after these messages from Melvin Law on Melvin Law Monday right here on the Buddy Martin Show.
Okay, so a lot of people see you on there. They think, who is Jeffrey Melvin and what does he do exactly? So let me explain if I needed to. Let me have you explain and answer those questions.
Melvin Law helps folks that are seriously injured in accidents. And one of the advantages is that we're local. The big box lawyers, the big box stores you see on TV, you're never going to see them. When you come to Melvin Law, you're going to see a Melvin, either myself or my son, Kerry. And we're in the community. We give back to the community. We help lots of people put their lives back together. But one of the main themes that I want to share is whether it's Melvin Law or any other local firm, I think we should support our local businesses. Why go out of town? And, most of these firms are running the case out of a different city. They don't, really have the same connection.
In the trunk of a car someplace.
Car, truck. We have golf cart crashes. We have all kinds of crashes. But the main thing is I support all of our local businesses in Marion County, Alachua County, Columbia County. So that's my message to everybody. If anybody's in a serious accident, give us a call. It's free. We'll get you in the right direction. And, we hope that you're not, but somebody will probably be involved in a crash. And we're here to help. And we have a great office fully staffed in Ocala, Gainesville, and Lake City.
All right. Well, thank you. That was from Melvin Law and Buddy Martin. Hey, well, apparently the way this super chat thing works is that if you give a couple of bucks, we got to read all of your stuff and we got to put it in the show. So we're going to start really fast and knock these out. We're going to say, first of all, Joe said super chat 49, chop. Who's the backup kicker? Shane, we couldn't get Shane a question because he was on the phone. Kyle, do you know who the backup kicker is?
Yes, I do. They haven't really decided one yet. Napier hasn't said, but I guess you could say 1A would be Adam Mahalik, who started last year. And then I think 1B, who has a very good chance, 5-star guy coming out of high school, is Trey Smack. Napier actually mentioned him in the interview a few days ago and said that, he's improved a lot this summer. So I wouldn't be surprised that if, under the radar, there could be a little kicking competition as well as the.
All right, good job, Kyle. Shane wouldn't know that. See, good job, Kyle.
There you go. Hold on, we got it. Next one is from Terry Johnson, who gave us $3. He said, "Super sticker, character punching the air with fist and bump written on his knuckles." I think that's probably what's the sticker, but I think we're getting a fist bump and written on his knuckles. I don't know what that is, but we'll figure that out. Then we got Joe gave us another $5. The Joe's guys got money. Will we best Utah? Yes or no? I think we've answered this a couple times. I think yes. Everyone do thumbs up, thumbs down. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Will we beat Utah? Thumbs up.
Oh, best or beat? Okay, it doesn't say beat. Mine
Will
says
we
best.
I think it's kind of
best means we will beat, but same thing. So I'll say.
Come on, we have to do it.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to say no.
All right, can we try this again? 1, 2, 3. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Okay, that's cool. All right. And then we got to make sure we get all the people that and that's the thing. You give us a couple of bucks.
How do you pay? I don't know how do you do that? How do you pay? I mean, what do I do?
I don't think you have to pay anything because
no. How does someone say, hey, I want to ask a question? I'll give you $100.
I think it's in the chat right now. So we've unlocked all these things.
Okay.
I told you when we get to 1,000 subscribers, which we're at like close to 1,100, we get these options. It's great. And now we got super chat $5. Hey, Kyle, have any players talked about the altitude and the adjustment they will have to make? Kyle.
No Florida players have actually talked about it, but Utah players have mentioned kind of similar last year for Utah guys coming in. Utah, they jammed up their the temperature way up in their facilities and stuff like that. They haven't said anything about it yet, but I wouldn't be surprised that if they're doing something to prepare for that.
And I will say that coming from Colorado most of my life growing up there, we have looked up the altitude difference. I believe it's lower in Salt Lake because like Denver's 5,280, 5,280 feet, which is 1 mile above sea level. Salt Lake's, I think, at like 3,500, so it's a little less. But we've asked those questions to a couple of people around. There's potentially something that like diabex. How much is, buddy?
4226.
There you go.
Feet.
Not 58. So it's like 1,000 feet under a mile. So it's like 3/4 of a mile above sea level. Let me tell you, it makes a difference, especially when you come from sea level. Buddy, obviously you live there. Kyle, you're a skier. You've done this before. You've been out to Colorado. I even asked if they're going a little early to Shane a couple of weeks ago. Hey, Shane, did it sound like the team's going early? He said no. He said they're not going out early, which is usually the best way to sort of, get acclimated. But I'm sure they're doing something. I don't know if legally they can take like a diabox, which is like something that opens up the caterpillars, whatever the things are in there. Well, it opens them up, makes you breathe easier. Not sure if that's a thing. I asked those questions. That's a great question. See, Animal, great job on the super chat. And you gave us $5. That's awesome. Thanks, Animal. Let's see if we got any more. Now, Joe's giving us $10. Is Cam, by the way, is Cam Rising going to play? Now, we've had some interesting information today that I read about, Cam is still questionable on the Achilles heel. Am I correct, Kyle?
It's ACL, but
ACL. Sorry, and then the backup quarterback has some liver lacerations or something going on. Am I wrong?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, he had to go to the hospital.
Okay, so tell me more about that.
I think it was a broken rib liver laceration. I don't know. I think Utah actually posted a video of them getting the backup getting sacked pretty good. But I don't know if that's your starting guy. I don't know if I'd be hitting him that hard in practice.
Probably not.
But I think that Cam Rising's probably about 50-50 right now. I think maybe if the backup's hurt, he's definitely not going to be 100%.
Right.
That's basically a given. He's not going to be running around, I don't think, as effectively as he did last year in the swamp. So if he does play, he'll definitely be limited. But I don't know. I see both scenarios. They're not gonna tell us until probably week of.
Yeah, well, and obviously for a multitude of reasons there. Now listen, we're getting to your super chats. Just 1 second. We got it. Franz Beard just showed up, so I want to bring in Franz. I'm loading up Spurrier with Buddy from earlier today. So, kind of we're in fluid, we're in motion. We got a lot of stuff going on. Things are happening. I got to get it off my phone, off the camera, whatever. So we're bringing Franz Beard. We'll say, hello, Franz Beard. How are you to the Iron Duke. Welcome to the Buddy Martin Show. And we've hit 1,000 subscribers, so people give us money in the chat room. We're going to get to the friends. Say hello to the people.
That's
Hello
me.
to the
Me
people.
hiding behind the sign there, just in case you didn't know.
Yeah.
Hello to the people.
We're sponsored by that, so it's good. To the people, that's all you got? Give me a little something more, Franz.
Okay, hello to all the people. How's that?
Okay. Franz,
How about all the great people? Is that better?
Yeah. Hey, Franz, how'd you get the name Iron Duke, by the way?
Ask your dad.
Buddy, speaking of which, Steve Spurrier tonight had a funny anecdote tonight when he was talking about off the camera or whatever, but then he became a trivia question within Spurrier's where he said, how was the swamp named the swamp? Did you all know this? By the way, how'd the swamp get its name? And who named it?
Well, that's kind of a technicality.
Well, I was interested to see what your take was on that.
Yeah, I know what Francis is going to say and probably got is that he named it, but he was giving credit tonight to Mike Bianchi, who was one of 16 dinner guests that were there with him tonight, because Bianchi wrote the first column about it. But as Chris Harris said, no, he may have written the first column, but it was Steve, it was your term. And he kind of have to acknowledge that it was. So it's a trick question. Iron Duke, I gave it to him because he's a Duke. I mean, you know, we talked about our kings and all of our royalty, and when we first started G&K, he was a Duke because he was so strong and was on every day, every night, and wrote columns. I nicknamed him the Iron Duke.
All right. Well, I think it's a great name, by the way. Terry Johnson gave us, I think, $5 USD, which I'm not very smart, but that feels like money. It's a super sticker, pair, character, lifting up some weights, saying keep it up. I think that we're reading those literally, and we're not knowing that there's a sticker associated with it. So I'm guessing right now there's a pair lifting some weights saying keep it up. And I think that is positive. Thank you, Terry Johnson. We appreciate that. Magnificent Germany with Darian, which is a great name, has got a question and gave us some $5 USD. How bad do you think the Gators will beat the Bull Puppies this year?
Let Franz have that.
That's all Franz Beard with the puppies comment, because that's you call them the Poodles, Franz. Am I correct?
I named them the Poodles in 1999, and it went viral. And I still get hate mail about that, but. Georgia's going to be really hard to beat, and the reason they're going to be hard to beat is, as much as a lot of Florida people hate to admit it, they do have the best defensive coordinator in all of college football in Will Muschamp. They list Glenn Schumann as the co-coordinator, and he has a lot to say in the defense, but it is Will Muschamp's defense, and Will Muschamp is absolutely brilliant as a defensive coordinator. Had some moments as a head coach, but he also had some bad ones too. But as a defensive coordinator, there are very few people out there with his kind of mind. And I wonder, can Georgia? I wonder, can Georgia three-peat with the quarterback situation, because Carson Beck's never been the guy. And I don't know that Carson Beck can bring to the team what Stetson Bennett did. Stetson Bennett was inspirational. He's a guy that everybody on the team would have taken a bullet for him. That's something we don't know. Carson Beck may have those same qualities, but we won't find that out till the season begins. I got to tell you, I question, can he be that guy with the intangibles that Stetson Bennett has? However, I don't question, can that defense stop people? I still think, and I'm writing it tomorrow, I still think Michigan might be the team to beat this year. And particularly the NCAA, I think, has given Jim Harbaugh all the inspiration he needs to coach his butt off, and then give the NCAA the finger and go to the NFL next year so they can't suspend him or sanction him.
Okay, you guys, $5 worth. We got stuff to roll in here, including energy.
Good answer, Franz.
Coach Spurrier, yes, it was. Coach Spurrier,
encouraging to
Chris Doering, even Pat Dooley may make it tonight.
We're going to start with Spurrier, because that's the first one that showed up there, buddy. So go ahead and set it up, Dad, because
just sat down in a loud, noisy room there.
Very
in
loud.
the HBC room there were probably about 12 of the 16 writers there, and sat down and said, "Well, Buddy and I used to do a column together. We talked about the days, and we wrote this column, which was Passing Thoughts in local state papers. So it was with the 49ers." And so he sat there and we said,
"Wait, you and Spurrier wrote this? I'm serious.
Yeah,
tell me a little. I mean, don't just. I mean,
well,
so this is a column called Passing Thoughts.
When I was in
what year?
When I was 1967, when he went to the pros, picked fourth, was it, Franz, or third by the 49ers? Fourth, I think.
Fourth.
And then I called him and said, "Let's do a column together. I'll call you every week." And we wrote 2 columns a week called Passing Thoughts about what he was doing. Now, you couldn't get enough Spurrier, could you, France?
No.
Papers just couldn't get enough. And we like nothing from out there. So we did this column twice a week. And we
actually, it was third. Sorry about that. Bubba Smith, number 1. Clint Jones for the Vikings, number 2. And the Dolphins picked the greaseball, number 4, behind Spurrier.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's when we started. That's the background. We did it for 2 years, and it was very popular in among 6 papers, as I remember: Jacksonville, Pensacola, Daytona, Cocoa. I can't remember, but we had 6 papers. That's the
awesome.
history. So this is when he sat down. He said, and this is what the interview went like. All right. I'll tell you one minute a second.
Okay. Go ahead.
Here's the owner of the joint. 29th, his second anniversary. Spurrier's Grand Grill, full house. How's it feel?
I tell you what, buddy, we're thrilled at the reception we've had here the last 2 years. Been successful, got a good crowd here tonight, and the food is outstanding. The employees are wonderful. Management, the managers, sort of like a football team, I tell everybody. The guy up top who put it all together is a guy named Freddie Weeby that knows how to put good deals together in restaurants, and he researched how to be successful in restaurants. And then the managers, they're like all your coordinators, and they do a fantastic job. And the people that work here, the bartenders, the servers, the kitchen people, I mean, all the way through, they're your ball players. And they all got good attitudes, love it here. I think somebody said we've got 46 employees that have been here all 2 years. So that means they love it here, and we're taking good care of them, and that's how you are successful.
Now, what did you think when your daughter came to you and said, "We got all this stuff, Dad, we got to put it someplace, somewhere, all this stuff. You collect everything. You say everything."
I have been a saver of
Jerry wanted to have a house. Anyway, you decide what you're going to do with it, and Amy said,
"To a restaurant,
right? Let's do a restaurant." And it's not just a restaurant, but a museum.
Yeah, my daughter Amy said, "Dad, you need a restaurant." And Freddie Weeby came by one day, and we were putting together a little deal where I was going to be spokesperson for Campus USA, which I still am. And I told him about this possible restaurant. And his company is called Let's Make It Happen. Make it happen. And he said, "Let's look into it." So he researched the thing. This facility here at Celebration Point was available. It was right before the COVID hit and all that, so we had a little extra time. And one of our owners is also the property manager here, so we weren't leasing a bunch of money with no restaurant. So we were able to get a real good lease deal and so forth here and put the thing together.
Freddie's research is unbelievable what he did. Traveled the world and going to restaurants.
Well,
visited them all, spent a lot of money on that. Turns out they did a pretty good deal what he did.
Well, he did, and he found out, several reasons why they're successful. First of all, got to have good food, got to have good management, location, and all that, and make the place a fun place to go to. And I tell you, you'd be amazed how many people from out of town come here all the time. Because you got to have you got to go online to get a reservation. Yeah. So people, I always say, "Where are you from?" Well, Lake City, Ocala, Newberry, blah blah blah. But yeah, we're thrilled at what's happened so far, and we hope to keep it up.
Become a destination, a terrific asset for University of Florida. Some of the recruiting parties.
Yeah, that's a big part also. All of our sports teams love to bring their recruits out here.
Yeah.
And I get a chance to talk to them a little bit. All of them, I mean, all the sports, gymnastics, swimming, golf, and so forth.
Talking to Jerry Dykes, you said you were so happy, you were really comfortable, you like what you're doing for university, got your own place. Life's pretty good, Steve.
Well, yeah, I've been blessed and fortunate all the way from just getting hired at Florida, because the Duke team won all those games and won the ACC championship, only won in 60 years. So when I talk about my coaching career, it ain't just all Florida. It's Duke and South Carolina. So, and the Tampa Bay Bandits. We had winners every year down there. But, yeah, I've been fortunate and blessed and thankful for everything that's happened.
You've been a blessing to everybody here, especially these guys that are talking about how you good been. Media boys are here.
Media boys. Yeah, that's one of my trivia questions. The media boys are here.
Media boys.
Yeah. Steve Russell, Whitley. Chris Harry used to be a media boy. Now he's moved back to his bigger.
It's a hybrid media boy. Brendan Martin here with Kevin. I want to ask you a couple of questions. You got to go out back. You heard Feinbaum talk about something today on the show, and I got to be sure and send this to Feinbaum. I'll be talking to him. He said something about somebody called in and said, we can get this team needs to get back like Coach Spurrier when he was here, where he was saying, Gator, God smiled on the Gators and won 8 games. You almost threw up when you heard that, didn't you?
No, I didn't almost threw up. I thought Feinbaum was going to say, well, that was when they were winning 10, 11, or 12 games, not 8. Yeah, one of the guys said, if everything breaks well, we can win 8 games. And maybe we can. Maybe we win more. I don't know what's going to happen this year. The quarterback, I think he's a good player, but, man, the whole team's got to play. Defense is going to be better. Can't be worse than last year. And so if they have good attitude, good spirit, I think Coach Napier is trying his best to get them together as a team. So we'll find out. First game at Utah, shoot, we got a good chance to beat those guys, even though they'll be favored a little bit. But talent-wise, we're as good as they are.
You always loved the underdog. You weren't that much, but when you had an opportunity, especially when you beat Clemson or Duke, that was a role you relished. How did you do that? You seem to get your team up. There's Hunter. They played so good.
Yeah, I learned that at Duke. A lot of people said, you're going to Duke, coach? And I said, yeah, I'm going to be the offensive coordinator. I said, you can't do that. You can't win at Duke. You'll get fired in 2 years and never get to coach again. And I said, well, guess what? That's the only people that are offering me a job is at Duke. So we had to beat the other guys. And but I loved coaching and I loved the competition. And it wasn't like working. In life, you're the same way. You love what you do. So it ain't like working when you really enjoy everything about the job you have. So we had to win, or I was finished as a coach. But we had a lot of good players, and you convince them that they're just as good as the opponent, then you got a chance. That's why the first year here, buddy, that 90 team, we were just as good or better than almost everybody we played. And we're getting ready to play Georgia. And they've beaten us 15 in the last 20 years. And one of the writers said, are you nervous about playing Georgia? I said, nervous? Let me tell you what. We're first in the conference in offense and second in defense. They're 9th and 10th in offense and defense. Why should we be nervous? All we got to do is play our game. And we beat them pretty easily. It should have been worse. But anyway, when your players have confidence, they're just as good, and we can play better than them today. You can win.
Well, even the Bulldog fans this year, I was online. I wish Coach Spurrier was back in the game again, because as much as they suffered from it, they also drew.
Well, winners in life admire and respect other winners. So they're winners now. You got to give Kirby and those guys credit. I do. They play like winners. Yeah. All right, buddy. See ya.
Congratulations.
All right.
Okay, guys, there he is. And I know we got a lot of people on Super Chat right now. We want to get back to them. But good to hear from the HBC. Never get tired of that, friends, here in the HBC.
Well, people always talk. It's funny how Bob Greasy used to be on TV. And Greasy used to, I thought, try to stick the needle in Spurrier. But Spurrier never had the pro career Bob Greasy had, but Bob Greasy, I don't think anybody remembers Bob Greasy for the most part, except down in South Florida. and everybody in the country remembers Steve Spurrier, whether it's as a player or as a coach. And, Spurrier got selected ahead of him in the draft, beat him out for the Heisman Trophy, and then proceeded to do things as a coach that Greaseman never could have or would have done. And, Steve, I think people also don't realize what a tremendous athlete he is. He's still the only high school player in the history of the state of Tennessee that was the MVP of the state championship game in football, baseball, and in basketball. If I'm not mistaken, he was the MVP in baseball twice, once in basketball, once in football. A remarkable athlete. And let's face it, while I love the contributions Coach Graves made and the fact that Coach Graves got Steve here, Florida football, for all practical purposes, really did begin with Steve Spurrier.
Yeah.
Because he's the guy that made people realize it can be done here.
That's right.
Before that, I think people said maybe, we hope, yada, yada, like that. Spurrier came along and made us believe, and then he becomes the coach, and he really and he not only makes you believe, he does it. We stopped being wait till next year Gators when Steve Spurrier became the head coach here. I give him, I don't think there's enough credit that can really be given to Steve Spurrier for what he did to lift Florida up. And, one thing I do think that gets totally overlooked, and shouldn't be, is he came and Florida had been on probation twice in football, once in basketball, was viewed as a rogue school. And over the next 12 years, Steve Spurrier made it possible for people to believe that you could win here and do it without cheating. And he doesn't cheat. And anybody who says, well, everybody cheats, I can tell you right now, you never played golf with the man. You got
I caddied for him once.
You got a 3-inch putt. You got to go up there. There are no gimmies, no mulligans.
I've felt the sting of that many times playing golf with him, so I can tell you firsthand that's true. And you're absolutely right about what he had to overcome, what the school had to overcome, because this team was this far from the death penalty when he came in and took his team. And you're right about, he told them they could do it. They set their goals, and he told them they could do it and told them how to do it. And in talking, we won't get the interview tonight. We had Dooley on tonight.
Yeah, I think we have it.
And well, I don't know if we're going to roll it in or not, but anyway.
Yeah.
The point he made was.
I'm Brendan Martin, dude. I can do whatever I want. I got it covered. I got everything loaded for you because I love you.
But I don't want to take France out of it, but the point is that he made a very good point. I said, you do the podcast with Spurrier every week. What's it like? And he says, I come in unprepared. I think we're going to have nothing. He said every time he comes up with something in the show that carries it. He's got some stat, something all the time. So anyway, that's.
You want to hear it? You want to hear it?
We'll hear a little bit of it. Yeah.
All right, here we go. Vince. Why don't you set it up?
Not Vince.
I know. I'm moving, shaking fast here.
All right, just roll it.
Set up the interview again. Brad Spurriers and the whole thing.
What years are very 1,000. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I get it up to a few games and go to the press box. I like. It's the only place I would go to in the press box.
Maybe you can get him to build us a little bit of the press box.
Yeah, I can work on it.
Well, here's Spurrier trying to grow past there. There's a lot he doesn't like. How's that going?
Oh, it's going really well, but especially when you got coaching here once a week. It's funny because I think, what am I going to talk to him about today? You know, it's summer, and all I got to do is come up with about 3 or 4 items that he's going to go off. It's unbelievable. It's so much fun to do it with him. I get laughing so hard. Sometimes I think I'm going to spit up something. What's up, fellas?
Scott, so what's the best thing about doing this Spurrier podcast? Just his sense of humor?
Yeah, it's really his sense of humor and how he loves to tell stories that he's told over and over again, but then he has a twist on them that we maybe haven't heard before. They are hilarious, and it's just great to have him offer up all these great things. And look, he is the history of Gator football. He is the guy, and none of this other stuff would have happened without him.
How lucky were we to be able to be here during this time and see what he's done? We realize as the years go by, it's even more and more rare and appreciated.
Well, it's definitely, I mean, as somebody who went to his first game in 1962, I think you covered that game.
I actually did.
Florida Auburn, Larry Lipitor was my first game. So for somebody to have been, and then to have gone through all the pain that you go through, and then to have him come along and do the wonderful things he did, and be the best interview of all time. You know, that's the thing. You would go into those press conferences and go, I mean, I don't know what I'm going to write. They're playing whoever, New Hampshire or whatever today, but you will walk out and you go, I don't know which one to write about now. After Coach Spurrier's press conference.
You're very fortunate. Filed the ball with you and the Gator football team this year. I know you know the Danny practice. Okay, sorry about all that background noise, but anyway, just want to hear a word there. So let me give France back the microphone, and I want to read one thing first for our sponsor, and I want France to dig in on the subject that we have said ad nauseum this summer about Graham Mertz, what is expected to be, how it'll turn out, how this team is progressing, et cetera, et cetera. Another big scoop, a big get today with Mack, the defensive back. They scored a 4-star, and they get better and better. But on this year's team, we're going to talk about the young receivers. We'll talk about Billy Gonzalez. But mostly talk about the Graham Mertz situation. And Francis talked about it a lot. Let's recap. First, I'm going to tell you about Titan MRI. Titan MRI is worth the short drive from Gainesville to R2 Gainesville. No insurance, no problem. You can pay with cash or card. You can get same-day scheduling. Start feeling better today. Titan MRI is North Central Florida's premier independent MRI facility. Premier independent MRI facility. Come see why hundreds of patients are visiting our Gainesville location from Ocala, Marion County, and the villages. That's TitanMRI.com. Well, friends, what's the prognosis of Graham Mertz?
I think he's going to do well. I'm not going to say he's going to be a superstar because he didn't come here to be a superstar. He wasn't brought here to be a superstar. If that happened, we'd all be doing backflips. But he was brought here for one reason, and that is because he knows what it's like to get ready for a game. He knows ready to get his team ready, and then he knows how to deal with the ups and downs that you're going to face during a ball game. I read all the stuff. People have him ranked the number 13 quarterback in the SEC, number 14 by Matt Hayes, and Matt's a guy I respect, a guy I like to read. But I think that these people are I think they are so full of it that next time they poop, their eyes are going to turn blue.
Whoa!
I mean,
how does that happen? I have blue eyes. What are you saying, France?
You're not full of it, Brendan.
No, I am very much so full of it, France. Just so.
But here's the guy. Here's what the guy can do. He can get you in and out of a play. I've talked to guys doing the interviews, and I asked him. I said, "How is he about getting you into the right play?" Cam Carroll, every time. I think that's people don't realize what a critical thing that is. And last year they couldn't do it. Last year they could not. And this is not any disrespect to Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson, people don't realize that game with Utah last year was his second start. His second start. That was the first time in his life as a Gator he had played more than 30 minutes. Holy cow, what do you expect out of the guy? Graham Mertz has been more than 2,000 snaps as a Division I quarterback. He knows what he's doing, and that's what his job is going to be, to get this team in and out of plays, get the ball to the right people, and I've watched him throw. He's not going to overwhelm you. He's not going to throw that 35-yard laser beam that you could hang your laundry on. But what he can do is he can get the ball there on time. You got to remember, there was this quarterback there, Danny something or other, didn't exactly overwhelm us with the speed of his passes. But they got there, didn't they, buddy? And they got there on time. This is what the guy can do. He can throw it there and get it on time. If they do that, they're going to win ball games. And I wrote about it. I've written about it twice now. In 2019, the second year that Billy Napier was the head coach, he goes from a playmaking quarterback to a game manager named Levi Lewis, 5'10", and that may be a stretch. He was 5'10" with his cleats on, and everybody plays with cleats on, so I'll give him that much. But 5'10", maybe $190. All he does is throw 26 touchdown passes, but meanwhile, they had an 1,147-yard rusher, an 860-yard rusher, an 820-yard rusher, and a guy that gained 334 and averaged 10.44 yards a carry. That's what you do when you manage the game the right way and you get the ball in the right hands.
Well, it's funny that you talk about that. And by the way, thanks for everybody watching on YouTube tonight. If you're watching, please smash the subscribe button so you can get updates when we're live. Buddy, we literally made, I think, speed records coming home from Gainesville tonight from Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. And oddly enough, on the way out, and one of the reasons we were late was we were also I had a moment to talk to Chris Doering, who was there with James Bates and the rest of the guys. And I asked him about what he thought about Graham Mertz, and this is what he had to say. Well, just kidding. Hold on. Just kidding. Hold on. Let's try this again. I'm just kidding. I got it right here. Everything went south on me, buddy. You there?
Go. I'm here.
I'm trying, but all of a sudden I've lost you. Buddy.
Well, I'm here. So there you go.
Hold on. I'll get it here. Give us a promo really fast, buddy. I got this coming in for you. Hold on.
I'll tell you about RenStar Medical Research while you're waiting.
There you go.
Our friends at RenStar have a proven reputation as a high-quality, patient-centered clinical research facility. RenStar Medical Research brings cutting-edge clinical research trials to Ocala in areas like Alzheimer's, dementia, psoriasis, osteoarthritis, migraines, and fibromyalgia, along with many other conditions that affect us in this community. Since their inception in 1998, RenStar participated in more than 700 clinical research trials and continue to partner with prominent pharmaceutical and biomedical companies throughout the medical industry. If you'd like to be a part of these, take part in some of these studies, go to renstar.net and check it out. If you qualify, in some cases, it will be you'll get compensated for your time and travel. RenStar Medical Research, seeking tomorrow's answers to the health questions of today. Do we have Brendan or not?
Well, we're here at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. You can see Coach and everybody up there tonight. It was great. I rented this guy, pretty much one of my heroes as a kid, to be honest with you. And I watch him on SEC Network all the time. So I would be remiss if I didn't ask you a little bit of what you thought about Graham Mertz and the current situation.
Well, I wasn't surprised.
I've talked to Urban Meyer and other people about it, so I wanted to know what your take on it.
I wasn't surprised that he was named the starter this week. I mean, all the coaches raved about how intelligent he is and how much command he has in the huddle. I'm hoping that he'll have an opportunity to do a little more in this offense than what he did in Wisconsin, being in the shotgun a little more, have a little more freedom at the line of scrimmage to be able to get forward in the right plays. So I really don't think you need a guy that goes out there and has to win the game. I think managing the game and distributing the football with some of the upgraded skill players that Florida has this year, the strength of the running backs, I just think if you can get Florida in the right play, protect the football, and not put yourself in a bad situation, they can lean on the defense, lean on the run game a little more.
Okay, so what I'm hearing you say a little bit more is that this offense, it's not the fun and gun. We're looking at a little bit more, would you say, smash mouth? We're looking at
No,
it's a slightly different type of deal.
Really,
So it's is he more of a systems QB or
I could be wrong. I mean, this is a guy that was a 5-star coming out, right? I mean, so I honestly believe that you're talking about a totally different looking quarterback than maybe we've seen. That I think that's why he came and looked for a fresh start. He was very adamant about the fact that he believed that he could do more than probably he was being asked to do at Wisconsin, and the coaching change at the time left a good opportunity to come be a part of what Florida's doing here, which I think this is a team this year that can surprise a lot of people. I myself have been a little pessimistic about what I think is possible, but I'm being around the team a little more, hearing more from people that have been out of practice and the coaches about what this culture is like this year and some of the players that they brought in and how everybody's acclimating to what they're trying to build here has me feel a little more optimistic.
All right, so you got to win. Are you doing that right now? I mean, I know it's everyone. It's like 5, 6, 7 wins. Are you? I know you guys wait.
No, I've said when we were at media days that I thought Florida. I think the win total was set at 5.5. I was skeptical that they could get to 6 wins, but God, can you imagine? I mean, Florida not getting bowl eligible to me just doesn't sound right. It's a brutal schedule this year that gets even worse next year, but if you can find a way to win some of those close ones, I think Florida shot themselves in the foot a lot last year. If you can minimize those self-inflicted wounds, I think maybe we get to that 6-7 win mark.
Well, it's like 2 or 3 of those that can go either way. So listen, I bothered you at dinner.
No,
Thanks for coming
man.
to talk to me.
Good to see you.
Good to see you, and we'll see you on the SEC Network. Man. Thanks. There you have it. We've had. There we go. We got you back, guys. That was Chris Doering tonight, talking about Graham Mertz and what he thought about them. What's your reaction to that?
Well, let's go 60 seconds apiece and say goodnight. Starting with me, then you, and then Franz take us out. All right. All right. I want to say, first of all, just what a terrific night it was at Spurs. Thanks to Freddie Weeby. I think there's some very good things that could happen. We can't keep having these injuries like they had, but there's a lot of good buzz going on. I think Chris Doering's a little on the conservative side. Well, at 5.5, he thinks they can get to 6. I'm in this saying that Franz, I think, is just below me. I see 8, and I see more than 7.5. So I had to go 8. So that's my take on it. But let's see what happens next couple of weeks. Brendan, then let Franz take us out.
Well, I kind of feel like the topic is a little bit beaten, but maybe it's because we're always hitting reset on it. I like to listen to the experts. I like to take all the information in, watch some practice, see how they are, injuries, all that stuff play in. I think if I'm just going to pick a number that I feel like I'm comfortable with, I'm more of in the 8 region. I felt in the interview that Doering was leaning that direction. He even said, the more I'm around this team, I think that's how everyone said.
But then he said 6.
Because that's but he's on the SEC network, so he's always sort of on that conservative side. So I feel like we're in the 8. The Gators are in the 8-win category, and I think that's probably realistic. Franz?
I think the Gators are going to be surprising to a lot of people. I think definitely 7 wins. I think it's going to be tough to get to 8, but I think 8's really possible. And I like them to win 8. But they're going to have to beat somebody that on paper they probably shouldn't be beating. Okay.
LSU, Tennessee, FSU.
I think Tennessee comes here and is very vulnerable. And a lot of, and I go back to 1999 when Tennessee came here off of an unbeaten national championship season, and it was only about, I think the heat index on the field was 110 degrees, and that was at 7 o'clock at night when the game was played. And that was the Alex Brown game. Florida came up with a way in that heat. Tennessee wilted. Florida came up with a way in that heat and won. Florida beats Tennessee at home. They have beaten them at home for 20 consecutive years. I think it's going to happen again. And I think that's the 8th win. But again, it's a game on paper that they're predicted to lose. Florida's going to be good. And this is the one thing everybody needs to get through their head. The Gators are going to be good. How good? A lot of that's going to depend on the injury bug, because they still have plug and play freshmen and inexperienced guys in that second group. If they avoid the injuries, they're going to be really good.
Among the teams,
if they struggle with the injury department, it's going to be tough. But they're going to be well coached. They're going to do better than people think, and they got a lot of good football players.
All right, among the teams they have to beat, and they have to beat Utah to have a chance, probably, or Tennessee, because they got LSU, Georgia, and FSU. So they've got to win 4 of those 5 right there. All right, I want to thank you, friends. Good job tonight. Thank you to all our
friends.
guests.
Duke.
Thanks for all of our guests tonight.
No,
Kyle did a great job. Chris Doering, Coach Spurrier, Matt Dooley.
What about me?
You're not guests.
But I mean, you're giving out like ball,
I'm
game
giving
balls,
out
helmet stickers,
like a normal show. I say thank you to our guests. That's what I'm doing.
Well, I mean, I just thought if you're gonna give out skull and crossbones for the helmets, I thought I maybe
not for you.
No.
I
mean, I broke several laws tonight.
Well, you should be ashamed of that. Not be proud of it.
See, that's you wouldn't have had my back.
I love you, son.
Right.
I love you, but
right.
I'm tired. I want to go to bed.
Thanks to all the guests. Thanks to Buddy Martin, who got us the tickets, and Freddie Weeby, right? When I say thanks, Freddie Weeby.
Yeah.
Coach Spurrier, Chris Doering, even that horrible interview that was not anyone's fault, but there's some really loud speakers with Dooley, which is too bad because you guys are like, but I would love to get you guys to actually sit down and talk sometime because you guys were sort of the dialogue was pretty good there. So.
Thanks to Joe Blackburn too, by the way.
Yeah, thanks to Joe Blackburn as always, who has always got our back and helping us out.
And Miss Alice, tell me how I did.
Oh, should we? I love the picture of Miss Alice. Do we have it?
I don't think so.
Yeah, we do. Here she is. Cutest thing of right here. There's Miss Alice, president of Mr. Buddy's fan club.
She's not ready. She'll tell me how I did.
She'll
Good night. Good night, Miss Alice. Good night, Brendan.
Good night, Dad.